What's good, everybody? What's good? What's good? What's
Hi,
good?
guys.
What's good? We just want to welcome you guys to our brand new podcast,
Yes.
the Not Like Us podcast.
I thought it was a why not us.
Start completely over.
Because you're going to have to owe Kendrick some money.
I know.
Yeah.
It's like, no, we ain't starting over. We make mistakes, and that's the episode of this podcast. Welcome to the Not Like Us. I keep saying that. Welcome to the Why Not Us podcast. It's our first episode. Eventually, it's going to roll up the tongue, everybody. Yep. But welcome to the Why Not Us podcast. I am your co-host, Rahmere. You can call me Griff or Rahmere.
And I'm your other co-host. You can call me Seneca or Sen, whichever one feels comfortable to everybody.
And we just really wanted to make this podcast like for creatives, by creatives. Really, I think one thing that really just this whole year, I think podcast has been like sat on our heart.
Mm-hmm,
and we've been like really like, yo, we really want to like bring it back, but like what would it be about? What would we talk about? What medium would it be? But like since January, like you can look back at our notes. We've been really trying to push to do this podcast, and we just think like, why not now?
Perfect time. It's the perfect time right now for everything, but especially podcasts, especially giving the world current state we're in. I think it's the perfect time not only to bring a podcast back, but to bring creative podcasts back and to highlight different topics that we can tackle and talk about and that we've definitely experienced for sure.
So I think just a little bit of background about what this podcast will be about. Yeah. Like I said, it'll be for creatives, by creatives, and we just want to just talk about just creativity in general. Mm-hmm. We have a ton of like topics lined up. Yes. We might have some surprise guests lined up, and we just want to just talk about just the like I said, the entire creative process, whether it be like, you know, why, like, should I be paid more for my creativity? Should I care more about the money, or should I care more about the art? Should I, like, what actually is a creative person? Mm-hmm. You know,
collaboration, overcoming certain, you know, struggles and challenges that, you know, creatives face.
We just want to be that advocate here for you. Like, you know, we've gone through a lot of things, like a lot of creative have gone through. Yes. And there's so many things that we haven't gone through in the creative spectrum. Absolutely. But like just in general, like I feel like we know a lot of creatives, mm-hmm. and we've been through a lot of things, so mm-hmm. we can definitely just like talk about these topics and actually pick each other's brain.
Yeah, because there's definitely a lot that's in, I feel like you and that's in me that we don't really get to talk about, and I feel like this is the perfect platform to tackle it, to pick our brains about like topics or subtopics or subgenres, not even just about film, but art and music and all these different realms of creativity. So yeah, I think that'll be good.
Absolutely. I'm excited. So I think what we're going to do right now is just like, let's just tell everybody about ourselves.
Yeah.
Like what makes us qualified to even talk about creativity in the first place? Like I know people are like, who are these people? Like, you know?
Well, I mean, I think qualifications run deeply and differently through everybody, but I'll start with me. I think that I know that I've been creating since I was really little, and the focal point of my creation and my creativity is definitely writing, is definitely expressing myself and telling stories. That's where like the heart, I feel like, of everything is for me. And I think just for us as a production, creating stories and telling things that maybe that's through my eye or not through my eye, whether that's through video, that's through script writing or writing of poems, like whatever that medium looks like, that is where I drive my main primary focus. I love visuals, so anything that I could put my little hands on and just spark out some sort of passion, that's what makes me qualified. What about you?
See, for me, I think it's crazy if you just think about the origin of certain things. For a long time, I've always liked to make people laugh or evoke some sort of emotion out of people, and that's what got my house called a few times in school. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Definitely was not a lot of my teachers' favorite coming up, but I had to realize that like a lot of that stuff just came from just creating some sort of emotion, evoking something out of people. Eventually it got tailored to, you know, creating a YouTube channel, little skits here and there, you know, just things that just like people would look at, maybe laugh at, or just think about it, whatever like that. So, and then I went to college, and originally I wanted to be a journalist. Which is still like, I just thought I wanted to write and just tell a story. but I realized that journalism, at least that class, was not for me. Oddly enough, I was terribly shy, and I didn't want to like
Really?
interview people for a living. Oddly enough, completely. That's so weird, right?
Yeah.
But then but I knew I always wanted to tell. I did want to tell stories,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I just changed the medium. I've talked to a lot of good people. You've talked to me,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of people were like, "Well, what about filmmaking? You know,
Mm-hmm.
I've already done the skits. I already wrote the scripts for the skits. Like, why would we not make that medium a little bit, just tweak it a little bit?"
Mm-hmm.
So, one of big passion of mine has been filmmaking for a few years. For almost 10 years, I've been an editor.
Yeah, you were a little modest about that.
Yeah, I know.
For a few years.
Sorry.
A
For almost 10
decade.
years, I've been a video editor.
Yes.
Just editing different videos, music videos, and movies and the like. And uh, being continuing on the note of modesty, I think I'm someone who can like do a few different things a little well. Not trying to be like cocky or anything like that, but like I feel like just in a creative field, I can like probably step into certain things and make something a little proficient, like a little graphic design or a little
Talk about it.
advertising or
Okay.
social media, like
Okay.
whatever. Yeah, and just a little background about us. I don't know if you could tell already. Me and Sam have been dating for like 8 years. You know what I'm saying? So
Dating.
yeah, you know we've been doing a thing for a little while. So
Yes.
it's definitely cool to have someone just like on the same creative wavelength as
For
you,
sure.
for sure, in this journey.
Somebody who gets the experience and can relate, and you don't have to. And that can definitely be another topic. You know, definitely how do you deal with creativity in relationships, and what what do you put in order, or like whatever whatever that can be for a different time. But yes, we definitely work well together, and we know when to cut certain things on and certain things off, and it's been a journey. It's been a pleasure.
Been a fun journey.
Yes.
Many more years to come.
Absolutely.
Respect. So I think we're about to get this show on the road. We got a couple of nice segments for you guys.
Absolutely.
So, but first, before we get into the nitty gritty, as always, we're just going to check in with each other. So, Sam, how was your week? What was your highlights of what's going on? Highlight,
Okay.
low light. Let me know.
Okay. I'm into that. My week has been great. It's been amazing. I'm not really digging the weather. I don't know what the weather wants it to be. It wants to be really hot, and then it wants to be really like chill and fall. So that has just been a struggle for me. Even like, what am I gonna wear? But the high has just been, I guess, opening up fall festivities, even though we're almost at the end of October. But it's okay. It's jumping into those fall festivities, and the fall festive drinks and doing whatever. And yeah, that's just been my highlight. Just been chilling with you and just opening up the fall festivities. How was your week then?
My week for me is probably reminiscent of yours, but like I think in particular one like a low light has been, I don't know what it is, and I think that'll be another topic we'll tackle this season. A creative with a full-time job. I think it just doesn't change for me every Sunday. Once the sun goes down, immediately I get this feeling in my head and in my heart. It's just like, man,
work mode.
I gotta go to work tomorrow. You know? And I don't know, it's like rarely ever where I don't feel that way. It just feels like, oh yeah. Right? It's not like, I like the people. The job's not hard. It's not difficult, but it's just like, man, I just gotta listen to, people's week and meetings again. And it's definitely difficult and I don't like feeling that way every week, every 6 days. It's like, oh, got work tomorrow, like whatever. So that's not fun. But like highlight is just, not to sound cliche, but like being able to use this medium, be here right now, making this podcast, something that we've been trying to do for almost a year.
Yeah.
To try to put it out, and now we're actually here making that content, talking to people, talking with like-minded people.
That's right.
I'm really excited for it. So just really seeing a dream come to fruition, literally. Yep. I think that's my highlight for sure.
Yeah. And piggybacking off of I feel like full-time jobs, I think there's so many, I feel like thank God that you have a job out there that is still in your creative element, but think about how many people that have to go back to these full-time jobs with no creativity
Yeah,
like whatsoever. So we definitely got to delve into that like further because I feel like it's a struggle.
it
So
is a
it's a
struggle.
brain trick. Like it's definitely like
It is a
what do you
struggle
do?
because I feel like some people like not working in their creative field,
Mm-hmm.
but still having a full time job completely different. But I actually don't know many people who do
Yeah.
because I would hate to be like I don't know, like a filmmaker or like a music recording artist, and I work at a library,
Yeah.
or like no offense to anybody who works at a library, but like I work at something so completely opposite. But I also, and we'll talk about this when this
Mm-hmm.
episode comes. But I also feel like the cool part about it is that you don't use your creative juice,
Right.
right?
And you're getting
So
inspiration from like
exactly,
so many other elements.
you're getting paid, but like also is like okay, I'm here at this job, but I'm keeping my creative juice. I'm keeping my
Mm-hmm.
creative stamina
Mm-hmm.
for when I really need it, when I really want it. No
Mm-hmm.
one can tell me how to do it.
That's
That's
right.
the thing I feel like is overrated about some of these creative jobs. Like
Yeah.
you're working with people and you may be in your field, but they have their own guidelines, their own way
Mm-hmm.
they want things to be done.
Yeah.
You know, you can only do it their way, or you're getting written up, or you're getting laid off, you're getting fired. Like, you know, it's definitely difficult to just be like, you know, working a creative job. I feel like it's not all cracked
Yeah.
up to be sometimes.
You know. So I think it has ups and downs for
Yeah,
both,
for
but
sure,
we'll get into that in another podcast episode.
for sure.
So now that we both checked in on how we're doing, let's just jump into something we like to call the icon and the eye.
Mm.
And so, what do you think that means?
Without knowing what it means, if
Yeah,
I'm like
right.
one of the
If you were
listeners or
one of the listeners
viewers,
and viewers, what would you think the icon and the eye would
that's like a hurricane. I ain't even gonna lie to you. The icon
mean?
in the eye. If I'm listening to a podcast and I'm like, yo, they got a segment called the icon in
Right.
the eye. What's that? It's like weather. I don't
Weather.
know.
It's nothing to do with
Am I
weather.
close?
No. So the icon in the eye basically is basically us. I said basically like twice. Sorry.
Basically.
It is just us highlighting something that is really relevant to us, whether it's music art, whether it's paintings, whether it's music or an album or movies. It is just something that we call the icon in the eye, and we just go, what's your icon in the eye? Like something that we've seen either visually, present, past, whatever, something that just catches our eye and happens to be iconic, whether they're known or unknown. So that's just our next segment we're going to dive into.
So I'll go first. I think mine's is a little bit unorthodox, but I don't know how you could be unorthodox when it's the very first time we're talking about it, right? But I think for this week, my icon in the eye would be our fellow cohort colleague and friend, Amir, who
Okay.
just posted a short reel promoting his personal training business. And I think so the icon for me is Amir Who, but like the eye, what he's seen, the creative part about it was like I think it was eye catching and then grabbing immediately. He just came on here. He was like, "You're a big bag. You're a big bag.
You're a big bag.
You're a big bag." I'm like,
Right.
"Dag," and
Right.
I feel
calling
like
people out.
yeah,
right.
But it catches your attention. Like within the first 4 or 5 seconds, it caught your attention, and it was like, of course I'm gonna support my friends and like share what they do, but then also if I didn't know him and if I was like wanted to see a personal trainer or whatever like that, I was going to share it regardless. So it was just really like eye catching in the moment. It was like, you're a big back and it's okay. I'm not judging you. Shout out Mirror, man. But like that's my icon in the eye this week is Amir, who he just posted a reel, so shouting out his personal training business. Yeah. So shout out to him.
Shout out Mir. So my icon of the eye, it is music. That's surprising. It's really not surprising.
Not surprising, y'all.
But this artist, I didn't even know she was an artist until I dug deeper. Her name is Miley Brady, and she's the daughter of Wayne Brady.
Oh, okay.
Right. And sometimes you see like family members and they're like strictly in the background, right?
Yeah.
But they have a whole family reality show, which is also cool. But I highlighted her specifically because she makes music and I checked one of her songs out. Yeah. And it was awesome. It didn't even like sound like terrible. It was like a really good song. And I feel like she's like, the eye of that is take your family name. You could have any family name and you can just do whatever you wanted. And she could have done it soon as she off jump, but she
Yeah.
waited for so long to do her music, and I think that's really cool. Somebody who's not taking like, oh, this is just my famous dad and da 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 da. Like they took their time, their own way, their own strides, and yeah, she's my icon in the eye. So yeah, shout out to her.
Shout out to her. Is she like in her 20s or so?
Yeah, she's definitely in her 20s.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's
that's
just
pretty cool.
Cool.
I think that's definitely cool. Like when young people have like iconic parents or so, and then they decide to just try to make a name for themselves on their own. Like you said, it could be really easy to like rest on your laurels and just like, all right, well, my dad got money or my mom got money. I'm gonna just be one of their kids. But like, and doing something in a completely different lane, right? Like it could be really easy to like, you know, to act just like her father act. Wayne Brady acts, right?
Yeah, he acts.
What movie he been in?
We're gonna do some research.
I know Price is Right. That's it. But
do some research. We just know he's very famous. Yeah. And I think it's very easy to if she would have said, "Hi, I'm Wayne Brady's daughter," like da da da, for her just to like put out a song, and I don't think she even did that much promotion for it. I really think only thing she did was TikTok.
So we're about to get into the main topic, you know, the main nitty gritty, and we want to pretty much figure out. We thought this would be a really good topic for like the first episode, and which is basically what makes it creative. And what makes someone a creative person or a creative? Is it because, you know, a lot of people deal with something called imposter syndrome, where they don't feel like they're enough, or they don't feel like they are a certain thing that they aspire to be, whether that be because they're not validated in certain spaces, or whether that be they're not getting enough likes, or whether that be, oh, I'm not getting paid for this, so I'm not a creative. So we really just wanted to dissect and break down like what makes someone a creative or a creative person. So basically, I can go first or you can go first to give my spiel.
Yeah, you can go first.
All right. So to me, I feel like what makes someone a creative person is basically, I think and stick with me now, it is a proficiency and a propensity to create something out of nothing.
Say that again?
It is a proficiency and a propensity to create something out of nothing.
Come on, Amen. Scholar.
Right.
Amen.
I think creative is just someone who can literally create something out of nothing well, and they do it pretty often. Right. Whether that be just like, even like, you know, a teacher creating lesson plans, down to an architect creating a house.
That's right.
Down to like, you know, those are people regardless of validation, regardless of accreditation, regardless of payment.
Yep.
I think those are people who are pretty good at creating something out of nothing. I think that's just my layman's terms of what makes it creative.
And that was like, to me, perfect, because there is no, to me, I looked up the definition, but I don't think there is a definition of what an exact creative is. I think in this world, we think a creative is like one way and like one notion, and like there's only one way to go about it. But I would like to read the definition, so, you know, I feel like yours and the definition matches up. The definition of creative or a creative is relating to or involving the imagination or original ideas, especially in the production of et cetera, work. So that can be in art, that can be in music, that could be in, we talked about architecture, that could be in school. So I think just as long as you have ideas and it's cultivating and you're collaborating with people, or you just have these big ideas, you find yourself thinking a lot, and you feel like, okay, this is an idea, and this is an idea, this is an idea. That's you being creative. It's you opening up and creative, to me, your mind. It's you saying, okay, I want my house to look like this, or I want my nails to look like this, or I want to open up a business like this. I want to go to school for this. You are having some sort of creative idea, thought, and to me, you're expressing your creativity. So it's not just always having a camera on or filming a music video or anything. It's just that, having those open-ended thoughts, to me.
Now, follow up on your statement and your definition of being a creative. Are you still a creative if you have thoughts but you don't execute on them? Like, because I think people can think all the time.
Well,
And I've
yeah, I think that. Well, here's the thing: are we saying what makes a creative or what makes a person creative? Because those are two different
they
structures.
are they are. We can't confuse the two.
Right.
So pretty much, I guess we're saying what makes a creative. Like somebody is a creative.
Right. And that to me, I guess if you, what you're saying, if you have talent, if you have something that you're highly skilled in, whatever that looks like, and you're pushing it, whether it could be you're going to school, you're studying it, I think that is what executes the difference between acting on your creation and just sitting and wallowing in your creation.
Mm-hmm.
You have to like do something, I think, for it, to it.
Yeah.
You gotta like put it on, because if you don't, if you're like, okay, I want to open up a business or something like that, and you're just sitting and you're just note taking or whatever, I just think you're just settling in your art and you're not doing anything to execute it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what you think.
I agree with you, because
Yeah.
I think even for my own personal things, sometimes I settle in my art, and it's a little bit the opposite, because sometimes I have ideas, but I don't have the motivation.
Right.
And sometimes I have the motivation, I have no ideas.
Right.
And it makes me look at myself like, well, am I really as good as I feel like I am? Or like, am I really as creative as I feel like I am? Or am I creative because I'm not actively doing?
Oh, see, those are conversations that can go on and on and on and make us run rampant, right? I think that just if it doesn't, you don't have to be actively doing something and you're like, oh, I'm just a bum.
Yeah.
Like, that's not what we're saying. We're saying that if, let's say, for many years, let's say you've been excelling as a teacher, but you haven't put the knowledge you have, the amazing thoughts that you have into teaching. That's just wallowing in it. But like, let's say if you've had, you know, experiences already, and then the one new experience you have, you don't really know what to do with it.
Yeah.
We're not saying that. I think you're still creative no matter if you have an idea, but you don't know how to put that idea together. I just think it takes a few more notches to like build it up and to really cultivate that.
Yeah, I think it just takes getting over yourself, or getting over a fear, or like just an anxiety you may have, or just, let's say you have the ideas, but you just feel like you don't have the means. I think one of the biggest things that I've been learning this year, and I think God has taught me this year, in terms of my creativity, is like, it doesn't matter if it's not what the final product is. Right. Basically, like, I can probably consider myself a little bit of a perfectionist, or like, you know, so much so that it has become crippling in the past, to where like, all right, if it's not 1000% my vision or like how I want it to be, I will not move or act on. Out. Yeah, it ain't coming out. Right. Respectfully. Right. Yeah, like, I need this in order, I need that in order, I need this in order, whatever. But one of the biggest things that like helped me get out of that was like, of course, my friend group, my peers, everyone's been pushing me. And I think a big example was like when I started streaming. I started streaming video games on Twitch. And obviously I had a vision in my head of how that should look. Right. I had overlays. Right. I had like, I know music I was going to play before I come on stream. And then like, we had like how the chat box was looking a certain way, whatever. But then there was an opportunity to just, why not just start?
And you know what? I think too, what also helped you is helping others. I think we're so hard on our own selves that I think we just gotta listen to ourselves. The number one thing that I know you tell people, and I know I tell people, is just start. So if you implement that in your own life, instead of being the perfectionist that you are, the just starting, you don't know where that could lead off to. It doesn't have to look perfect. It doesn't have to be 4K. It doesn't have to be on a Canon or a Sony. It could be on your iPhone. It could be on your, you know, your MacBook, if you can make that work. Like, it can be anywhere. And I think the message to us and to anybody, and that's what can close to me the chapter of what makes you creative. Just start.
It's the idea.
It's the idea, but you cultivating the idea to just start. I don't care if you are good at nails. Okay, if you have to do nails, let's say in like a basement or something. I don't know. I know that sounds a little weird, right? But you would dress it up to make it professional. You would make it welcoming. Just start somewhere. It doesn't have to be in a nail shop. It doesn't have. It could be, wherever where it's safe and welcoming. And that's just to us. It makes me feel like us when we were thinking about filming. Where did we start? We started in school. We just started, and we got people that we feel like that would know that we would help us along the project. And I think that's just the message. Just start.
You can't have a masterpiece if you don't start with a piece.
Amen. That's a word.
I just made it up in my head.
That's a word. We got a praise on that. That's a word.
You cannot have your masterpiece if you do not start with a piece. So like you said, like, I guess succinctly, tie it all up, bow tie it, for this particular part, you are creative if you have creative ideas. If you have an idea to create something out of nothing. It does not matter if you do not know how to act on it. Does it matter if you don't know how to?
It doesn't. We're not looking for wiki answers. There's no rhyme or reason. You could just the best thing is resources and knowledge. To gain the knowledge is just to look.
Because the best part about it, if you don't know how to, there's people around you who do.
Absolutely.
Link up with like-minded people.
That's right.
Collaborate. Other people might stick with your vision, rock with your vision. They're like, oh wait. I've been waiting for an idea. I have the means. I have the money. I have the opportunity. I have the place.
Have the idea.
I just don't have the idea.
And you have it.
Waiting for you.
Yeah. Just start. And also, I think to wrap it up as well is creativity doesn't just look one way. So always remember that. And to me, I always remember. I know we will always remember that it doesn't look one way.
No.
Color, creed, sex, topic, category of career doesn't look one way.
No, wholeheartedly. You are creative if you just have the ideas. You don't necessarily need to have the means. It doesn't need to be 1000% looking the way that you have it in your head. But I think being a creative 1000% takes bravery. And it just takes just the ability to not care what people think when you first put it out. Right? Being able to take criticism though when you first put it out. And just
step outside of yourself
and just go for it. Because it can't live if you don't give birth to it. You have to put it out there.
You are dropping so many gems.
Oh man, I miss doing a podcast, yo. I don't know if I could tell. Tell. But anything else you have to say on that topic? Like, what makes it creative?
I can go on and on and on. I think also what makes a creative is someone who is willing to add something to the world.
Yeah.
I feel like if there is something that you're doing that you feel like that is not already in the world, I feel like you're sitting on that, you're creative. Something that you see that's not or not enough. There's room for everyone. To me, there's room for everyone to have their own lane and build their own stuff. So original ideas, definitely 100% creative. And somebody who's just ready to push the world in a more upward state. One
thing that I want to add on is just because someone is doing something that you want to do doesn't mean you can't do it. I think especially Philly culture, people feel like, oh, just because Sin is rapping, I can't rap because I'm gonna be Joe.
Right.
Just because your man's is doing something, he making paint canvases, I can't do it. I just, there will be a lane for you wholeheartedly. There
Crab
will be
in a barrel.
1000%. There will be an opportunity for you, a lane for you. You never know. You see something that Sin don't see, or you see something I don't see, or you see something that someone else doesn't see. You don't know until you do it, literally. So just because someone else is in your lane or someone else is doing something, and that doesn't mean, oh man, maybe I shouldn't. I won't be as good as them, or I won't have the reach as them, or I'm not as known as them. Nah, stop. Those are all things. I remember a thing. There will always be 1,000 reasons not to do something.
Yep.
But what are you going to when are you going to give birth to your art?
Right.
Literally. When are you going to create? Because you are a creative. You are creative.
You are. And start saying yes to you. So.
Cool.
I think that closes out our main topic.
Nice and with a little bow on it.
With a little bow.
I think we gave you a lot of gems.
I hope y'all picked them up. He definitely was dropping the gems.
Sam was dropping gems too. I don't know if y'all peeped them. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely going to tweet a couple of them. Might be my words of the day. You might see some off this episode whenever this drop. basically, Sid let us know what the topic was of today. Basically,
Yep.
what makes it creative. And we're just going to start the wrap up with a nut. We're going to end off on our last segment on this podcast. Y'all having fun? We having fun.
We having a ball.
But we're going to end off on this last segment. It's called Final Five. I know you're like, bro, when the road is the Final Five?
What is the Final Five?
The Final Five, ladies and gentlemen, is we're going to leave you guys with 5 words, whether they be 5 random words, a phrase, or a sentence. We're going to leave you guys 5 words to just meditate on, digest, take, and just be like, okay. To help you with your creative journey this week.
I like that.
Yeah. Basically like that. So we're going to give you our final 5. You want to go first? I go first.
I'll go first.
Okay. What's your final 5? Say, let me know.
Well, look, I've been struggling with 2, so I'm always struggling with 2. But I'll just give you all 1. Experience your art alone first.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is, yes, I feel like a lot of us do keep our art to ourselves, but we don't experience our art for ourselves and to ourselves. And that means before you start tweeting, before you start telling, before you start ranting, before you tell a friend or tell your mother or tell your father, know that it's okay to wallow, and not in a sad way, but just sit with your art, experience your art, try it first, live in it first. We always cultivate the idea, but I don't think we experience our art, our artistry. Let's say, for example, I paint a painting.
Yeah.
The first thing I'm going to do, naturally, I feel like as human, is to go show someone else.
We're looking for that validation.
It's validation. And the thing, that's literally the idea behind it, is validate your own art. I think that's super important. So whatever it is that you do in your art space, just experience that and first before you let anybody see it. So I think that's
I love that.
Thank you.
I'm not gonna lie, you impressed me. You impressed me with that one. It was fire.
Thanks.
Okay.
Appreciate
All
that.
right, man. How do I follow that up, man? My final 5. My final 5 is learn to delegate your art.
Okay. You got stuck a little bit.
I got a little stuck.
Okay.
But I think it's just basically learn to delegate. One of the biggest struggles I've had in my creative journey in life is because I remember I introduced myself. I said I can step in a lot of different roles, and probably after a few moments of getting the ropes, I can probably do it a little proficiently or so, not bragging or anything like that. But with that comes, yes, it comes with the ability to, plug any holes that happen. But with that comes with the feeling that I have to do everything. And I've talked to a lot of close friends, and I think within the past few years, I've gotten way better at it. Just learning to delegate. Your vision, just because your vision doesn't mean you have to just see it through alone.
It's true.
Yeah. You have to become a good communicator to communicate your vision to other people. And if you do it with vigor and passion, people will have they'll be on your same wavelength at the end of the day. I think about filmmaking, just because I have a vision and I know what it's going to be, doesn't mean I need to be a writer, producer, actor, a director, and all of that, editor. I don't need to do all of that. It's just because I can don't mean I need to. You have to really learn how to delegate and let other people, take things off of you, man. That's not good for you.
No.
You don't grow if you just keep on just doing everything. I call it Tyler Perry. My bad. But I'm just saying,
we getting into it like that.
I just you just gotta you just gotta learn how to delegate. That is a very important skill that I've had to learn.
Yeah.
So basically my final 5 is for me. I don't know about y'all, but
I mean, it's for everybody. I think that speaks volumes, even if it's not in a creative element so much so. Let's say we feel like, okay, there's people out there who are mothers, who are, they want to work,
I am a mother. Sorry.
There are mothers out there, there are fathers out there, people who work 9 to 5, part-time jobs, and they want to be, all of these things. It's so important to give a duty to a person, or to like you just said, take some of that leverage off of you, so you won't be weighing a ton. Doesn't it feel heavy when you have to carry so much?
It's tough, but I think when you do it enough, you get used to it, but that doesn't mean it's good.
No, at all.
You could be driving with no seatbelt enough. You're used to not driving with a seatbelt. That doesn't mean that it's good for you at all. No, just because you can don't mean you should. Learn to delegate your art. That's how I'm feeling. That's my final 5.
I love it.
It's my final 5.
I know you heard my final 5, so that closes up that. How are you feeling about our first episode? Really we closing it out.
I'm feeling really good. I think we came in here with a vision. I think this is the fruits of everything we thought of and try to collab with and put together this year. And it feels really good to be here at the end of the episode too. And just I think in my head, I just feel like, man, the sky's the limit for sure. Because it's just, even the name, why not us?
Why not us?
Is man, what's stopping you from doing what you want to do?
Mm-hmm.
I think one thing, recently, why that the name Why Not Us came to us was all right, a year ago we dropped a short film. We dropped Dreamer, really good short film.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't seen it, go check it out.
Check it out.
New Chronicle Productions,
Go check it out, y'all.
Really good short film. We had a great viewing. We had a great cast, and everyone came out.
Yes.
We had a premiere for it. Everything was going really well. We were going to have the news come out. It was really good.
Big, yeah.
And then it just hit me. I'm like, yo, I know so many people with podcasts, and why are they not talking to us about it?
Why are they not interviewing us?
Why are they not interviewing us? And instead of just becoming bitter towards them or feeling a type of way, man, people are not giving me the attention I want, blah, 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 blah. It was well, why don't we create a podcast and we do it?
And why don't we do it?
And we give people the attention that we didn't get.
And information that can help out so many.
Absolutely. So this podcast is for y'all.
Yeah. From
us to y'all.
And we came in with a vision and a mission.
Amen.
Okay.
I like that.
Thank you.
I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. You know what I'm saying? And we'll see you guys soon.
Thank you for checking in. And once again, for creatives by creatives.
There you go.